Today, I want to challenge a belief that many of us hold tightly, the idea that we must be kind to everyone, at all times, no matter the cost. Now, don't misunderstand me. Kindness is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. But when kindness becomes an unthinking reflex, when it becomes a tool to win approval or avoid conflict, it loses its value. We've been taught to smile, to agree, to stay silent when we should speak up, and to bend when we should stand firm. But here's the truth: not everyone deserves your kindness. Not every situation calls for it. And most importantly, being kind to everyone can sometimes mean being unkind to yourself. Think about it. How many times have you let someone cross your boundaries because you didn't want to seem rude? How often have you said yes to something that drained your time, energy, or spirit just because you didn't want to disappoint someone? Kindness is powerful, but only when it's intentional. It's not weakness. It's not appeasement. Real kindness is having the courage to say no when it's necessary. It's having the strength to walk away from people who exploit your good nature. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And if you're constantly pouring kindness into others without discerning who's drinking from your cup, one day you'll find yourself drained and resentful. Stop being kind to everyone. Be kind to those who respect you. Be kind to those who value your time and your efforts. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. Kindness is a gift, not an obligation. Use it wisely and it will shine brightly. Give it away carelessly and it will lose its power. Kindness is often mistaken for fragility, but it takes immense strength to remain kind in a world that can be cold and indifferent. True kindness isn't about being agreeable all the time. It's about showing compassion without losing your backbone. It's easy to respond with anger or indifference. Choosing kindness requires courage. Strength lies in being kind, even when it's inconvenient. Kindness is not about being passive. It's about being intentional. It's about knowing when to extend a hand and when to protect your space. Remember, real strength is shown through controlled kindness, not uncontrolled appeasement. There's a fine line between being kind and being taken advantage of. Kindness doesn't mean allowing others to walk all over you. You can say no firmly and still be a kind person. Being kind isn't about letting people misuse your time, energy, or trust. You have the right to stand up for yourself without guilt. Being assertive and setting boundaries is not unkind, it's self-respect. People will treat you how you allow them to, so teach them with confidence. Kindness is a gift, not an obligation. Not everyone you meet will value or respect your efforts. Some people will see your kindness as weakness and exploit it for their benefit. You must learn to identify those who are sincere and those who are merely opportunistic. Protect your energy and reserve your kindness for those who truly appreciate it. It's okay to withhold kindness from those who repeatedly disrespect your boundaries. Remember, kindness is meaningful when given to those who deserve it. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that teach others how to treat you. Without them, people may unintentionally or intentionally overstep their limits. Being kind doesn't mean saying yes to everything and everyone. Self-respect begins with recognizing your limits and communicating them clearly. Healthy boundaries protect your emotional well-being. Saying no when necessary is not selfish, it's self-care. Kindness with boundaries ensures you remain balanced and fulfilled. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something significant. Saying no isn't rude, it's prioritizing what truly matters. Overcommitting yourself leaves you exhausted, resentful, and ineffective. You cannot show up fully for others if you're constantly drained. Respect yourself enough to decline obligations that compromise your peace. Real kindness includes honesty about your capacity. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is say no with grace. When you constantly give without recharging, you will eventually burn out. Unchecked kindness can lead to emotional, mental, and even physical exhaustion. It's not your job to save everyone or fix every problem. Overextending yourself doesn't make you noble, it makes you vulnerable. Set clear boundaries about your time, energy, and resources. Being selective with your kindness ensures you stay energized and effective. Protect your well-being, or you'll have nothing left to give. You can't give your best to others if you're emotionally drained or physically exhausted. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Just like a cup must be refilled to serve others, you must take time to rest, heal, and recharge. Giving endlessly without replenishing yourself creates resentment and bitterness. Prioritize your own well-being before trying to help others. Your cup must overflow before you can pour into someone else's. A well-rested version of you can offer genuine kindness. Kindness loses its value when it becomes an unthinking habit rather than a deliberate choice. It's not about being agreeable all the time, but about being aware of who and what deserves your kindness. Blindly offering kindness in every situation may make you vulnerable to manipulation. Pause, reflect, and assess before giving away your energy. Intentional kindness creates meaningful connections and boundaries. Thoughtful kindness is more impactful than reactive kindness. Don't let your kindness be taken for granted. Not everyone has good intentions, and some people will take advantage of your kindness. They may guilt-trip you, manipulate you, or rely on your compassion to meet their needs. Recognizing this pattern is not being unkind, it's being wise. Stop giving endless chances to those who abuse your generosity. Protect yourself by learning to say no without guilt. Kindness shouldn't make you an easy target, it should make you wise and discerning. If your kindness comes from a need to be liked or accepted, you're giving away your power. Seeking constant approval from others will leave you drained and unsatisfied. True kindness comes from within, not from a desire to please everyone. Betraying your values or boundaries just to win approval is a losing game. You cannot control how others perceive you, but you can control how you treat yourself. Stand firm in your truth, and the right people will value you. You are not responsible for everyone else's emotions. Constantly prioritizing others' comfort over your own peace will leave you exhausted. There's a difference between being kind and being overly accommodating. It's okay to step back from situations and people that disturb your inner calm. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary for your mental health. You cannot bring light to others if you're consumed by chaos. Your peace should be non-negotiable. Some people drain your energy, leaving you feeling emotionally depleted after every interaction. These emotional parasites often disguise themselves as friends, family, or colleagues. They thrive on your kindness and willingness to listen or help. Recognizing them is the first step to protecting yourself. Set boundaries and limit your exposure to such people. You deserve relationships that are balanced and mutually respectful. Kindness shouldn't come at the expense of your emotional health. Kindness isn't always about being agreeable or soft-spoken sometimes. It's about being firm and holding your ground. There are moments when the kindest thing you can do is deliver tough love or speak uncomfortable truths. Avoiding confrontation out of fear of being seen as unkind can enable harmful behavior. Being firm doesn't mean being harsh, it means being clear, honest, and respectful. True kindness has boundaries and isn't afraid to say enough is enough. Remember, sometimes a firm no is kinder than a dishonest yes. No matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to please everyone. The energy spent trying to win everyone's approval could be better invested in your growth and happiness. People will always have opinions, and some won't like you no matter what you do. Instead of bending over backward to meet everyone's expectations, focus on living authentically. Your time and energy are limited resources. Don't waste them on people who will never be satisfied. Remember, the most important person to please is yourself. Time and energy are two of your most precious resources. You wouldn't let someone rob you of your money, so why allow them to drain your emotional energy? Be mindful of where and to whom you give your attention. Not everyone deserves a place in your schedule or access to your mental space. Being selective with your time isn't rude, it's smart. Reserve your energy for people and situations that truly matter. You owe no one constant availability. If your kindness comes at the expense of your self-respect, it will eventually turn into resentment. Saying yes when you want to say no creates internal conflict and bitterness. You'll find yourself angry not just at others, but at yourself for allowing it to happen. Kindness and self-respect must go hand in hand. Set clear boundaries and honor them. When your kindness is balanced with self-respect, it feels empowering rather than draining. When your goal is to be liked by everyone, you give away your power. You start to compromise your values, silence your voice, and exhaust yourself in pursuit of approval. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Your worth isn't determined by how many people approve of you. Focus on being respected rather than liked. Stand firm in your authenticity, and the right people will appreciate you. Chasing universal approval is a losing battle. In a world obsessed with numbers, followers, friends, contacts, it's easy to forget the value of meaningful connections. A few genuine relationships are far more valuable than dozens of shallow ones. Choose people who respect your boundaries, support your growth, and reciprocate your kindness. Shallow connections drain energy without offering support in return. Build relationships where kindness flows both ways. Invest in people who uplift and empower you. Your values are your moral compass, and they deserve protection. There will be moments when standing firm in your beliefs will upset others. That's okay. Being kind doesn't mean compromising your principles to make others comfortable. Don't apologize for staying true to your values. People who truly respect you will honor your convictions. Kindness rooted in strong values is far more meaningful than kindness driven by fear of disapproval. If your kindness comes from fear of rejection, conflict, or disapproval, it's not true kindness. Fear-driven kindness creates anxiety and resentment. Real kindness comes from a place of strength, self-confidence, and compassion. It's about making a conscious choice to be kind, not feeling pressured into it. Strength-based kindness empowers both you and others. Don't let fear dictate your actions or your boundaries. You cannot carry the weight of everyone else's happiness on your shoulders. It's not your job to fix everyone's problems or keep everyone smiling. People are responsible for their own joy and well-being. Trying to make everyone happy will leave you drained and empty. Support others, but don't take ownership of their emotional state. Your responsibility is to manage your happiness and peace first. True kindness comes from a place of authenticity, not obligation. Being fake nice just to avoid conflict or gain approval will leave you feeling hollow. People can sense when kindness is genuine and when it's forced. Be real, even if it means being less agreeable at times. Authentic kindness builds trust and stronger connections. Don't sacrifice your honesty for the sake of appearing nice. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to your own needs, goals, and priorities. Time and energy are finite resources. Overcommitting yourself doesn't make you kind, it makes you overwhelmed. Learn to say no with confidence and without guilt. Prioritize what truly matters in your life. Protect your time and your mental health by setting firm boundaries. When you prioritize everyone else's feelings over your own, you end up neglecting yourself. People-pleasing may seem like kindness, but it often stems from insecurity and fear of rejection. Constantly seeking validation from others is exhausting and unsustainable. True kindness involves being kind to yourself first. Stop sacrificing your well-being for temporary approval. Being honest, even when it's uncomfortable, is one of the kindest things you can do. Sugarcoating the truth or avoiding tough conversations often causes more harm in the long run. Speak with kindness, but don't shy away from honesty. People deserve your truth, even if it's not what they want to hear. True kindness respects others enough to be clear and honest. If you constantly prioritize someone else's comfort at the cost of your peace, you're doing yourself harm. It's not your responsibility to keep others comfortable at your expense. Protect your mental and emotional well-being. Your peace is invaluable, and no one has the right to disturb it. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is walk away. Walking away is not weakness, it's self-respect. There comes a point where your kindness is no longer appreciated but exploited. In such moments, walking away is the most powerful act of self-care you can offer yourself. Staying in situations where you are undervalued only drains your energy and self-worth. You owe it to yourself to step back when your boundaries are repeatedly crossed. Remember, walking away doesn't make you unkind, it makes you wise. You are not required to fix every problem, defend every argument, or involve yourself in every conflict. Constantly stepping into battles that aren't yours will leave you drained and distracted from your own growth. Learn to discern which battles are worth your time and energy. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself and others is to step aside. Focus your efforts on what truly aligns with your purpose and peace. Kindness should flow in both directions. It's not meant to be a one-sided effort. When people show you respect, value your time, and appreciate your efforts, they deserve your kindness. However, those who consistently disrespect or exploit you are not entitled to your energy. Invest your kindness in relationships that are balanced and respectful. Kindness thrives in mutual respect and shared appreciation. Kindness without self-awareness can become self-sabotage. You need to know your own emotional, mental, and physical limits before giving to others. Pay attention to how certain people or situations make you feel. If your kindness is causing you harm, it's time to reassess. Self-awareness allows you to offer kindness in a way that is sustainable and healthy. Know yourself, know your limits, and protect your energy. You are most helpful to others when you are at your best. If you're always exhausted, stressed, or emotionally overwhelmed, your ability to help others diminishes. Self-care isn't selfish, it's a necessary foundation for meaningful contribution. Take time to rest, recharge, and focus on your own well-being. Only then can your kindness be consistent and genuine. You deserve care just as much as anyone else. Your mental and emotional health are not negotiable. No act of kindness is worth sacrificing your peace of mind. If being kind to someone consistently harms your mental state, it's time to step back. Protecting your emotional health is not selfish, it's survival. Healthy boundaries ensure you're operating from a place of balance and clarity. Take care of your mind and heart first, and the rest will follow. The world often confuses kindness with weakness, but the two couldn't be more different. Kindness is not about being naive or gullible. It's about being wise enough to choose compassion despite the risks. True kindness is thoughtful, intentional, and discerning. It knows when to step forward and when to step back. Never let anyone make you feel weak for choosing kindness. It's one of the greatest signs of strength. Enabling toxic behavior under the guise of kindness is not true compassion. Sometimes the kindest act is to say, I will not support this behavior by refusing to enable someone's harmful actions. You create an opportunity for growth and accountability. This doesn't mean you lack kindness. It means you care enough to prioritize the long-term well-being of both parties. Kindness includes holding people responsible for their actions. Your kindness should never come at the expense of your identity. Don't let people or situations mold you into someone you're not. It's possible to be kind and still stand firm in your beliefs, boundaries, and values. Know who you are and remain true to yourself, even when offering kindness. If your kindness feels like self-erasure, it's time to reassess. Stay rooted in your authenticity. It's your greatest strength. Some people will use your kindness as a tool to manipulate or control you. They may guilt-trip you, play victim, or twist your compassion to suit their needs. Learn to recognize these patterns and protect yourself from emotional manipulation. Kindness shouldn't feel like a trap or a burden. When your kindness is being weaponized, it's time to set firm boundaries. Protect yourself without apology. Boundaries are not something to feel guilty about. They are not acts of unkindness, they are acts of self-respect. Stop apologizing for saying no, for needing space, or for protecting your energy. People who truly respect you will understand and honor your boundaries. You don't owe anyone endless access to your time or energy. Stand firm and remember, boundaries are a sign of emotional maturity, not cruelty. Time is one thing you can never get back. Every moment spent on people or tasks that drain you is time taken away from things that truly matter. Be intentional about how you spend your time and who you spend it with. Guard your schedule like you guard your wallet. It's just as valuable. Kindness doesn't mean being endlessly available. Respect your time, and others will learn to respect it too. Your kindness is a gift, and it deserves to be given to those who value and respect it. Pour your energy into people who uplift you, appreciate your efforts, and reciprocate your care. Don't waste your kindness on those who take it for granted or exploit it. Focus on meaningful connections that add value to your life. You deserve to be surrounded by people who cherish your kindness, not just consume it. At its core, kindness should be freely given, not forced. When kindness starts to feel like an obligation, it loses its authenticity. You are not required to be kind to everyone at your own expense. True kindness flows from a place of abundance, not guilt or fear. Be generous with your kindness, but don't feel pressured to offer it where it isn't valued. Kindness is most powerful when it's given from the heart, not out of duty.